finishes, first I want you to get a picture of what a second step finish would be like in your head. So the traditional way that someone would drive, and let's say they took one dribble to the basket, but once they took their steps, their first step would be here, and their second step would be here as they get their finish. And so when we talk about what some people would call a wrong foot finish or a same foot finish, usually they're talking about what we're talking about as a first step finish. Now the reason why we call it a first step is because in all actuality, all it is jumping off the first step rather than taking that full second step. And so why would we do that? Well, the common answer is because you're trying to throw off the defender's timing. Now that puts the game in more of a checkers or chess format where you're trying to trick the defender or play in a more deceitful way. But in all actuality, a lot of times, it's simply because you're jumping at the moment that's required. You're jumping right now because right now is the opportunity. And so that is jumping off the first step that you take. So if I took that first step, but I don't have the space or the time to take my second step, or the defender's still a little bit out of position, I can jump off of that foot, and that's jumping off the first step. And so right now, I want you just to be able to jump off of the moment in time and the space that's required in the game. Now, typically, this type of situation would be off of a second dribble. And so when you're working on your first step finishes, I want you to start adding in a second dribble because that's going to be the predictor of when that step's going to hit the floor. And so right now, if I took 2 dribbles, my space ran out, and now I'm jumping from this location, I got to be able to jump right now rather than taking a second step. Now, as you move this around, and you can play with your different spaces, maybe your first step would be right here. And now you're jumping from this space. And the reason why you're jumping from this space off your first step is because if you took your second step, you've gone too deep. And so what I'm going to do when I work on this for my time is I'm going to mix up my first step location, whether it's here or there, without changing how many dribbles I'm taking. And so if I can take a 2 dribble drive to this location and a 2 dribble drive to this location, I'm working on my body's ability to change the distance of my steps and be able to react and interact with the space that I have. And so what I want you to do for your 20 minutes of this is really spend time driving right and driving left, always jumping off the first step, which is going to be your outside leg, without stuttering your feet, and really changing and playing with the space as you go.